Hey everyone, this is the Peaceful Warrior giving you my latest review of Naruto Chapter 603 entitled Rehabilitation. Coming into this week's chapter, Madara is super old. He saved Obito, although Obito was managed to avoid being completely killed by the boulder using his space-time migration jutsu. I don't know how he was able to do it with a two-tomo Sharingan, but apparently, those are the rules according to Kishimoto. So, Madara saves him, brings him back to his hideout, and bandages and stitches up half of his body that was crushed. Tries to brainwash him with the classic Madara Uchiha worldview. Obito doesn't bite. He says, hey, I still have a life. I still have bonds. And as long as I'm living, I'm going to protect those bonds. And I'm not going to stay down here forever. I'm going to get strong. I'm going to train myself. And I'm going to go back to Konoha, to the village. And I'm going to grow strong with Kakashi. And I'm going to protect my girl Rin. So that's pretty much, the end of it. And so that's where we are coming into this chapter. When we began the chapter, there has been a mini fast forward. Obito is a little bit older. He's grown physically, but he's still struggling with gaining complete control of his new body. But slowly and steadily, he begins to make progress. And we see that there are some artificial Zetsu. One of them is a Zetsu that we already know. But he's just the white Zetsu. It's not the complete black and white Zetsu. And one of the Zetsu has the whirlpool type of mask that we see Obito use as Toby. But it's not a mask. That's actually a part of that Zetsu's face. But they're both artificial beings. They're artificial humans. They are self-sustaining. And practically speaking, they can, aside from fatal wounds, they can actually be immortal. They don't need to eat or drink, and they don't have to go to the bathroom. So they do have self-sustaining life capabilities. Which brings me to my first crucial point, is that we still don't know the full secrets of Hashirama's body. And I say that because it's apparent now that Hashirama's body is key to Madara's plans and all of Madara's moves and decisions. Because if you think about Madara's claim in chapter 576, when he's fighting Tsunade and the five Kages, he says that Hashirama had the ability to heal himself without even using hand signs. And that's connected to Obito's ability to heal himself from Naruto's Rasengan that we see in chapter 601. And I believe that's also connected to why Madara just attached a clone, if you will, of Hashirama's body to Obito, and Obito was able to be nursed to health, and he was able to be healed of his wounds, and he was actually able to become stronger than he was, and of course this also puts him in a position to be the new Sage of Six Paths, having Uchiha and Senju DNA. But yeah, there are apparently life-giving, altering secrets about Hashirama's body that we don't yet know, and I think we still need to consider, speculate about, and watch out for. So anyway, with that being said, these Zetsu are talking about their capabilities, how they, can sustain themselves and don't need to go to the bathroom, don't need to eat or drink. And Obito's had enough of it. He calls one of them idiots, and he tries to get control of his body. He shows good progress. And then there's another mini fast forward. And from this mini fast forward, we see that physically speaking, he's still the same, but his hair has grown. His hair has grown like Madara's hair. Long and black, almost like Goku's hair. And we see it's still the third Ninja World War, though. So he hasn't actually aged all that much. And one of the Zetsu returns and says, "Hey, that Kakashi and Rin that you always talk about in your sleep, they're actually surrounded by Miss Ninja." And Obito obviously is very zealous for both of them, and he rushes out and he tries to punch through one of the rocks. And the arm that he uses from Hashirama's body to punch through the rock disintegrates. And they're like, "Dude, you're not going to be able to punch through rocks with that body, but you can use one of ours." And so the Zetsu with the whirlpool type face of a mask offers his body for Obito's use. And since they're able to travel, back and forth throughout the earth, this is something we already know about Zetsu, period. But that's still a part of Hashirama's, that's still a part of the secrets to Hashirama's body. Like, Zetsu being able to move throughout the earth is connected to Hashirama's wood ability, like his ability and affinity for the wood element. So I think that that's something we also need to be on the lookout for, and hopefully Kishimoto gives us an explanation concerning that. But anyway, Obito's like, "Man, are you sure about this? Because you all are Madara's man. He wouldn't think bad about this." And Zetsu's like, "Man, don't worry about it. This dude is pretty cool. Just go ahead and use his body, and you'll be able to go to the battlefield." And apparently that's where we're going into next chapter. So I think concerning Ren's death, I think that not only does Obito blame Kakashi, I think that he blames himself, and I think that's why we don't see him snap to Kakashi about Ren's death. He just simply says, "You let Ren die," because I think he also blames himself, that despite his new body, his new capabilities, the time that he spent, training, getting control of his new body, he's still not able to save Ren after all this time. And he was supposed to be achieving his maximum potential working with Kakashi. So imagine if he and Kakashi were working together, and he's supposed to be able to achieve his full potential by working with Kakashi, because Kakashi has his other Sharingan, and they still fail to protect Ren. Then it's like he's going to lose all faith. You know what I'm saying? Not that I agree with this path for the story, but I'm just simply giving a logical prediction based upon where the story has been and is going. So yeah, Kakashi. So that would, to me, will be a reason why Obito would go dark side. Is because even after teaming up with Kakashi to protect Rin once again, he fails. They fail. Even after he's supposed to be able to achieve his full potential by working with Kakashi. I also think that Obito is going to blame Minato, his sensei, for the failure to protect Rin as well, because in his mind, his sensei failed them and allowed him to get crushed in the first place. He wasn't fast enough to prevent him from getting crushed. So that's number one. He wasn't fast enough to save Ren, and I think that's why he's going to make it so that he's not fast enough to save Kushina, his wife. So I think that Obito is going to have. I think that's where Obito is going to begin to develop this desire to separate Minato from Kushina in order to extract the Nine Tails, because he knows that from history that if Minato is separated, there's an opening. But with that being said, I also believe that this is where we're going to see Obito develop his grudge against the Mist and his desire to want to control the Mizukage and begin the Akatsuki there and rob the Mist essentially of their top class ninja, which is going to be Kasame. So I think this is where we're going to begin to see Obito officially become Toby. So next week's chapter should be pretty good in that we're finally going to begin to see the reasons why he actually becomes Toby. So those are my thoughts and opinions, and I look forward to yours as well in the comment section below. So as usual, rate, comment, subscribe. Thanks a lot, and you guys take care.